Alright, let's kick things off with a classic, your jeans. Specifically, that tiny pocket that's basically too small to hold anything useful. You know what I'm talking about, right? It's like the appendix of your pants. But guess what? It actually has a purpose, and it's way older than you think. This little guy dates back to the 1800s, and it was originally designed to hold, drumroll please, pocket watches. That's right, back when folks were rocking those fancy timepieces on chains, this little pocket was the perfect place to keep them safe and sound. Of course, these days most of us aren't walking around with pocket watches. So what do we use this tiny pocket for now? Well, some people use it for coins, others for rings, or maybe even a tiny USB drive. And let's be honest, some of us just leave it empty, wondering why it even exists in the first place. But hey, now you know. Next up, we've got a real lifesaver, literally. Ever notice that little hole at the top of your pen cap? No, it's not just for decoration or for clipping onto your shirt pocket, though let's be real, we've all done that. That tiny hole actually serves a very important safety purpose. It's there to prevent choking. See, companies like BIC, the geniuses behind those iconic pens, realize that people, especially kids, sometimes accidentally swallow pen caps. And when something gets lodged in your airway, well, that's a pretty big deal. So they added that little hole. That way, if a pen cap does get accidentally swallowed, air can still pass through, giving you precious time to, breathe and get help. It's a simple design feature, but it can make all the difference. Alright, let's take to the skies for this next one. Ever been on an airplane and noticed that tiny hole in the window? You might have thought it was a flaw or something, but trust me, it's anything but. That little hole is called a bleed hole, and it's there to keep you safe and sound while you're soaring through the air. See, airplane windows have multiple layers, an outer pane, an inner pane, and a gap in between. The bleed hole helps to regulate the air pressure between those layers. As the plane climbs to higher altitudes, the air pressure outside drops, and this little hole makes sure the pressure stays balanced. That way, the outer pane bears the brunt of the pressure, while the inner pane stays nice and strong, keeping you safe and comfy inside. Plus, the bleed hole also helps to prevent the window from fogging up, which is always a plus when you're trying to enjoy those amazing views from 30,000 feet. Alright, let's talk fashion for a second. Have you ever noticed that little loop on the back of some shirts right below the collar? It's not just a random design quirk, my friends. It actually has a history, and it might surprise you. This loop, often called a locker loop, can be traced back to the 1960s and those swanky Ivy League schools. Back then, students would hang their shirts in their lockers using these loops, keeping their clothes wrinkle-free and looking sharp. Over time, the locker loop transcended its practical origins and became a fashion statement. Some people even used it as a secret dating code. Legend has it that if a guy was interested in someone, he'd leave the loop intact. But if he was taken, he'd cut it off. Talk about high-stakes fashion. Alright, all you runners and sneakerheads out there, this one's for you. Ever notice those extra holes at the top of your running shoes where the laces go? You know, the ones that don't seem to have a purpose? Well, guess what? They're not just for show. These little guys are strategically placed to help you achieve the perfect heel lock or lace lock. Basically, by threading your laces through these extra holes, you create a more secure and snug fit, preventing your foot from sliding around inside the shoe, especially during those intense runs or hikes. It's a game changer, especially if you're prone to blisters or discomfort. So next time you lace up those running shoes, give those extra holes a try. Your feet will thank you. Okay, this next one might seem a little strange, but bear with me. Have you ever bought a new piece of clothing and found a tiny little baggie attached with an extra button and a scrap of fabric? You might have thought it was for patching up a hole, but that's only part of the story. That little swatch of fabric is actually a secret weapon in disguise. It's meant for testing out your detergent and stain removers. Before you unleash a new cleaning product on your brand new outfit, you can test it out on this little fabric sample to make sure it doesn't cause any discoloration or damage. It's like a little insurance policy for your clothes. So, next time you're tempted to toss it, think twice. That little piece of fabric could save you from a fashion disaster. Let's get techie for a minute, shall we? Ever notice that weird cylindrical bump on your laptop charger cable or your phone charger? It looks kind of like a tiny forgotten Lego, right? But don't let its appearance fool you. This little bump is actually a technological marvel. It's called a ferrite bead, and it's basically like a mini electromagnetic force field for your devices. See, electronic devices can generate a lot of electromagnetic interference, which can mess with their performance and even damage them over time. That's where the ferrite bead comes in. It acts like a filter, absorbing all that excess electromagnetic noise and keeping your devices running smoothly. So, next time you see that little bump on your charger cable, give it a nod of appreciation. It's working hard to keep your tech safe and sound. Alright, let's head to the kitchen for this next one. Ever notice those little grooves or rings on the bottom of your cups, mugs, or glasses? You might have thought they were just decorative, but they actually serve a very practical purpose. Those grooves help with water drainage, especially in the dishwasher. They prevent water from pooling up on the bottom of your cups and glasses, which can leave those annoying water spots and mineral deposits. Plus, the grooves also help to prevent suction. Ever tried to pull a glass off a wet countertop and felt that satisfying pop? Yeah, that's suction at work, but those grooves help to break the suction, making it easier to lift your drink without sending it flying across the room. Next up, we're unlocking the secrets of padlocks. Ever notice those little holes on the bottom of padlocks? You might have thought they were just for decoration, or maybe even for attaching something, but they actually serve a couple of very important purposes. First, those holes allow water to drain out. See, padlocks are often used outdoors, where they're exposed to the elements. Rain, snow, you name it. Those little holes make sure that water doesn't get trapped inside the lock, which could cause it to rust and eventually break. Second, those holes can also be used for oiling the lock's mechanism. A little drop of oil in those holes can help to keep everything running smoothly and prevent rust and corrosion. And finally, let's end on a historical note. Have you ever wondered why we have margins on paper? It's not just to make our teachers happy or to give us a place to doodle during boring lectures. Believe it or not, margins were originally designed to protect our precious written words from, wait for it, rats! That's right, back in the day, rats were a real problem, and they loved to nibble on anything they could get their tiny little paws on, including paper. But those clever folks back then realized that if they left a blank space around the edges of the paper, the rats would be less likely to munch on the important stuff in the middle. So there you have it, the humble margin, a testament to the ingenuity of our ancestors and their never-ending battle against pesky rodents. And there you have it, folks. 10 everyday things with secret purposes you probably never even noticed. From tiny jean pockets to life-saving pen caps, these objects have been hiding their secrets in plain sight. Which one surprised you the most? I gotta know. Let me know down in the comments if you've got any fun facts of your own to